What is up, everybody? Happy Halloween.
I I just have my normal ugly face on, so
Oh, damn it. How's this going to work? Anyway, guys, happy Halloween. As always, my name is Drew, here with Mr. Newman. I am not wearing this the whole time. I've just been out with my son. Trick or treating all night, so had to start off the show a little differently. But what's going on, John? How's it going, bud?
good. I got my ugly mask on too, except this one doesn't come off.
I hear you, bud. Yeah, I guess I put my scary one on. But first off, guys, thanks for everybody for joining us. But wanted to give a special shout out to the guys over in the Facebook group NFL Longest Yard. Any of you guys that are watching the show out there tonight, glad to be a part of that group and glad to be bringing that show to you guys each week. Excited about that. So if you guys are watching for the first time, this isn't the main show. The main show is Sunday at 9:30, but today's the day where we give our picks for the week. We give 3 games each and then a lock, and we'll run through them and preview Sunday's show. So with that in mind, Mr. Newman, why don't we start with you, and why don't you give us your 3 picks?
All right, so let me pull them up here. All right, so I went with Eagles Bears. I'm taking the Eagles are the Bears are getting 5. The Eagles are favored by 5. I'm going to take the Eagles. They just came off a big win in Buffalo. They're in a division where they really can't afford to slip up, and they got a Bears team that really just trying to figure themselves out. They got quarterback issues. That's not their only issues, but it starts there.
Yeah.
So I went with that one. My other pick, I don't know if you wanted to jump in.
No, I actually love that pick. We'll be talking about it a little bit more here in just a bit, but no, I love that pick. I think the Eagles, I think, are turning it around right now, and I was surprised they struggled as much as they did. I'm not a fan of the Eagles, but that's just what I'm seeing. But the Bears, this is a week where actually it's going to be the focus of a couple of different games. Quarterback and lack of confidence at quarterback, so to speak, is key in a lot of these games. And Trubisky in particular, Chicago making no moves. I think they draft a quarterback this year or go after someone in free agency, a la Nick Foles, somebody like that. But
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect fit. Teddy Bridgewater, perfect for Chicago. But I'm a little worried about Mitch Trubisky and really Chicago in general. They're not looking good in my eyes. And I love the Eagles in this matchup. I think it's a great one for them.
Yeah. My second pick is the Lions, the underdog, believe it or not, to the Raiders. You know, I know the Raiders are capable of putting a game together under Gruden, and maybe they do it this week and cost me an L in the picks department. Very well could happen. But you know, if the Raiders are giving anyone points, you really have to look at that game.
Yeah.
You know, and the Lions can put up points with Stafford and Marvin Jones and those receivers. So I think it's going to be hey, there's Marlon. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think the Lions, if it's a high-scoring game, I'm going to probably side with the Lions in those cases. Again, you know, the Raiders are a team any given week might actually put a game plan together and pull this one out. But I'll take the Lions with the 2-point advantage before the game even starts.
Yeah, that's what shocked me. If this line had been Lions -2 or something, I don't know if I take it, but I just don't see. For one, I just don't see them. If they lose the game, I see them maybe losing by a field goal, but it's going to be one of those last-second things. Oakland really scares me, especially they have 0 pass rush whatsoever. Nothing. Shocker. You get rid of Khalil Mack, you have no pass rush. But beyond that, their secondary is terrible, like absolutely terrible. And so if you can't rush at all to actually give your corners a chance to, not have to wait 7 seconds before the ball's thrown and cover a receiver like that. Detroit's got too many weapons. I know they're struggling as well, but these are two teams, let's be honest, they're both struggling mightily. And so, yeah, I actually agree with you at that pick. Lions at +2 is a good one.
Yep. I think they're going to score a lot of points. Like you said, the secondary is an issue, and I don't know if the Raiders can match firepower for firepower. So my third game is the Packers favored by 3.5 over the Chargers. And I think the Packers found a little running game last week. Aaron Rodgers is starting to look like Aaron Rodgers. I know the Chargers won, but let's be real. The Chargers won because a field goal kicker missed the field goal.
Yeah.
So I don't think, even with the W, I think there's still problems there. And I think that this spread seemed a little even like low to me. So it jumped out. I almost made this my lock, but I didn't. It is in Los Angeles. It was Green Bay. I would have, but obviously that spread would have been probably even higher in Green Bay. So I just think the Packers have figured things out. I don't think the Chargers have, despite the win in Chicago due to a last-second missed field goal. So I take the Packers here.
I had them as one of the teams I was thinking about this week, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't find myself to take it. I don't know. I stayed away from it. This game, it's a weird spread. I thought, even being at home, I thought the Packers would have had a higher spread on this than 3.5. So I don't know. It's a little concerning. Plus, how the lines move since it started. I think the Chargers eventually have to do something. I mean, eventually they've got to have a game where everything comes together. And so I don't know. I like the pick. I had it written down, but I crossed it off. So I do like the pick. But before we get into it, and guys, if you're just watching for the first time again, please comment with anything, any questions, comments. If you think our pick is fucking bullshit, tell us, comment, tell us, disagree, come on the show if you want. But Blake asked, over under for Detroit and Oakland. Oh, I'm trying to remember what the over/under is. Let me
sight unseen. I'm going with the over here.
I'm gonna go with the over, but let me see what it actually is.
I think it's 50 something. I'm gonna guess
50 and a half. It's 50 and a half.
Yeah, I'm going over.
Over 100% over. Absolutely.
Probably should have been one of my picks, now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's 50 and a half. I absolutely take the over. I expect the Detroit to put 35 up themselves easily.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's a safe bet, over there.
All right, so for your lock of the week, John, before we get into
I might regret this one. There's all sorts of problems in Denver. Joe Flacco throws his coaching staff under the bus, and all of a sudden has a mystery neck issue, which didn't appear at his press conference when he was throwing his coaches under the bus. So I don't know if one of them wrung his neck or grabbed him by the collar after the press conference, but now he has a neck injury. He's going to be out pretty much. I'll be honest with you. I think Joe Flacco's played his last down.
Me too.
In a Broncos uniform. Yep. So it's not the Drew Lock era yet. It's going to go to Brandon Allen, who they really picked up kind of late in camp. And, the Browns got their problems of their own, but at some point, Baker's going to put a game together. I think this sets up well to do that for him. And so I'm going to take the Browns. I know that's risky. I know they got some issues. Baker just walked out of a media interview, and there's a lot of negative stuff going on there. But I'm going to take the Browns 3.5. I just think the Broncos are a little bit of a mess. They're getting their bearings under a new coach, Vic Fangio. You got a not a great quarterback coming in. Not Flacco wasn't great either, but now you downgraded from Flacco, so that doesn't bode well. And I think Mayfield's going to put a really big game together here. Probably
Yeah.
three, 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Get a little bit of, there. I
Yeah.
showed you guys. I still got something, and
Yeah.
I think this is a double digit. Quite frankly, I could see them winning by double digits here.
Nice. Yeah, I like that a lot. We'll talk about that more in just a minute. I think that's a very safe lock and I like it. But over on the watch party, Paul Jatzlau, what up, Paul? Good to see you again, buddy. But he says he's actually got 32 total on the over under in that in the Detroit Oakland game. So quite a little split there. That's the total opposite of what I thought. I saw Detroit getting that myself, but that's going to be an interesting game to watch. That's for sure. That over under is it's at an interesting number. I'll say that 50.5 is a little low. Vegas putting it that low makes me think that Paul could be right on this. Going with 32 because I expected it to be more like 56, 58.
Yeah, I would have guessed 56.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, Paul, actually, 32. I like that, but
that might be done in the first quarter.
Yeah, that could happen too. That could also happen. They could also put that up. But anyway, all right. So we've got your picks of the week. Now we'll move on to mine. Very first one, I'm going to get it out of the way early, and I don't know if this is a good idea. I struggled with this quite a bit, but I'm going with it. And that's Baltimore at 3.5. I was tempted to pick them straight up. But to me, this just seems like I look at the Patriots schedule. I don't think they're going undefeated again, even as good as they are. They've got to lose a game here or there. I don't think they're losing a game in the division. Maybe that second game against Buffalo, but I doubt it. Baltimore, they can do the things that can beat the Patriot defense. They can do the little things, and I think Lamar Jackson has one of those days that he's on and he kind of proves he's making that jump to the next level. So I'm actually taking the Ravens at 3.5. And hey, if they don't lose, it's 3.5. I still got them with a field goal. So I've got Baltimore at plus 3.5.
Yeah, man, you got more balls than I do. That I'll say.
Well, dude, I got to catch up. As
yeah,
you'll see in a minute,
this is how you do
ass.
it. Honestly, this is good strategy because this is how you do that. And my assessment on this, I've picked against New England so many times in the past. I just learned it's like Pavlov's experiment. You keep getting snapped in the nose. You stop going back in there and getting twapped. So I didn't touch this. I will say this. I'm smart. I hate to root for New England, but as a Steeler fan, I have to. Belichick, as we both know, is great at negating the other team's best player. Yes, so he's going to have a game plan for LJ. I think he's going to make Lamar Jackson beat him with his arm if they're going to win. And so I expect him to flare out his ends, maybe kick out some of the outside linebackers to keep Lamar Jackson contained and from not getting to the edge. And he's going to say, Lamar, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to hit receivers downfield. So that's the question. Can Lamar do that? And I don't know. He's some of his, even his better games they've won, his rushing statistics are much better than his passing. So I didn't touch this game, but I don't know. I think Belichick's going to have an answer for Lamar Jackson.
Well, I'm going with Paul once again. Paul, very smart comment. He says he's got the Ravens by 13. I don't know if they're going to rout him that much. I'd love it, Paul. But I do. If you give me 3.5 points with Baltimore right now against New England, looking at their schedule, they got to lose once. I see it right here.
I got to ask Paul, is Paul a Ravens fan?
No, he's a Texans fan.
All right.
I know that. He's a Watson fan. It's a love-hate relationship with me and Watson, but we'll see how that goes this week. But anyway, on to the next pick. And I really hate doing this, so I'm going to put this mask back on. so I can act like it wasn't me when this goes wrong. But my next pick for the week is I'm actually taking my boys, the Panthers, at 3.5. I think I'm getting stuck on headphones. I think we get destroyed like we did last week to a 49ers team that shouldn't beat us that much to begin with. Playing a Titans team that they've got a good defense, but if our defense shows up, which I don't see 2 bad games in a row from that defense, if our defense shows up and plays any way like we're actually capable of doing, then 3.5 at home should be no problem against a Tennessee team that's up in the air with everything they do. Now, the one thing I would like to see is how Kyle Allen's going to bounce back from just getting shit whipped all around the field for 4 quarters. Like, I want to see if he can come back and actually have some confidence in that didn't destroy everything. But other than that, I've got my Panthers at -3.5.
Yeah, I saw this game. I didn't touch it, but I the one part I almost touched of this game, quite frankly, Drew, and I'll get your input on this. I almost took the under because I don't see this being a shootout. I see this as sort of the opposite of what the Detroit-Oakland game is going to be. I see kind of a 13-10, 17-14.
If the Panthers go over, if either team goes over 24, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
So I looked at this game not so much for picking either team, but as taking the under. So I looked at the Panthers. I just said after last week that could, like you said, that can go one or two ways. Obviously, they can really stay in the tank, or they can just say last week's over, forget about it. Let's come back out and get this done. I just don't know. These are two teams. The Panthers are more consistent. The Titans are another weird team this year, where from one week to the next they look different. And now with Tannehill, I'm not saying he's great, but they are playing better with him under center. So this was a stay away game, but I almost took the under here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I actually like the under on that completely. All right, so pick number 3 for me. I'm actually agreeing with you. I got the Browns at 3.5. Browns, if the Browns are going to do anything whatsoever this year, if the Browns are going to put it together at all, they've got to win this game. You can't lose games like this. You just cannot do it, especially with a Broncos team this Broncos team. I don't know. You've got to be able to. I just don't see it. Browns 3.5. Browns 3.5. The Broncos just don't have. I don't think they have a chance.
Well, I think you summed it up nicely. The Browns lose this game, their season's over with.
Done.
Yeah. So, and I think they know that. I think there's a sense of urgency in that room. I think Coach Kitchens feels the heat that everyone's saying he's out of his league, he's out of his element. I think they're going to bear down this week and get it done. Or else, if they don't, that's it. And then Kitchen's seat's going to get even hotter than it already is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and so for my lock of the week, I'm actually sticking with you as well. I've got the Eagles at -5. Mitch, it's enough. Mitch Trubisky, I have zero faith in him. Absolutely zero whatsoever. I see this game being an absolute just mauling personally.
Yeah. But, Trubisky, even some of his staunchest supporters in the past are now kind of saying that the Bears might have made a bad pick and might have to go get another quarterback. So when that happens, there's some issues for sure. And so, it's hard to pick the Bears at any given week at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, as you can see right up there, this week Newman, we both went 2-2 last week. So Mr. Newman currently is still up by 4 games at the moment, 13-7 and 9-11. We got 2 of the same games this week. So chance for me to catch up a little bit of ground on you.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Before we wrap up, guys, if you guys do have any questions about any of the games this week, definitely feel free to ask right now, or any DFS questions, you're always more than welcome to. But so John, pretty interesting week this week. Lots of fun games. What are some of the games that you're really looking forward to the most?
Well, obviously being a Steeler fans, they got a tough tilt with the Colts and the Steelers. While I think that hole might be too big to climb out of, they can't afford to really lose any more games. So they still believe, obviously, in that locker room. They need to win at home against Indianapolis, much like the Cleveland Browns game with the Broncos. Really, for Pittsburgh, their degree of difficulty is very difficult. So they can't drop any more games. They got to win their division games. They still got to play Baltimore again, Cleveland twice, and so they got to win these non-division games as well. Yeah, especially at home. Colts are actually favored by a point. I wasn't going to touch it. I try not to. When we do our picks, I try not to pick my team.
I know. I hated. That's why I put a mask on for Carolina. It's just scary. It's scary to me. I don't know. It's a it's a rough one. Paul, you asked for best DFS value play this week. There's a couple of guys that I'm looking at, honestly, and really, I would go after. I haven't looked at the Jets wide receiving lineup just yet, exactly who's in, who's out, whatnot. I would definitely go with the second or third option with the Jets playing up against Miami. Even though that is a divisional game, Darnold looks like he's probably going to play. I think a lot of Jets wide receivers, some of the lower guys, definitely for that low-end money have some very good value this week. And another guy who I think could actually have a whole lot of value, and I know you're not going to like this, John, but I actually think Marlon Mack could have a great game. I think he can. I think they're going to be able to run the ball decent. He'll have a decent game running, but I think the catching out of the backfield, from what I've watched from the Steelers, and John, maybe you can back me up or tell me I'm completely fucking wrong, but I see them struggle at least a little bit that I watched with some pass catching running backs. And so Mack is somebody who you're going to pay money for him. He's not going to be super cheap, but if you're looking for that lower tier guy to be able to maybe add in a second wide receiver or add in another top one for your flex, Mack is somebody that I'd take a look at also.
Yeah, I can't argue. They are Pittsburgh, like you said, struggles a little bit with those pass catching backs, slipping out from the backfield, and also tight ends also give them a little bit of trouble as well. Yeah,
and I think those would be two good ones. Now I'll put out my picks Sunday morning, so I'll probably do a little bit more research into it. Then I want to see where a couple of injuries are. There is one sleeper. If Denver comes out, and I mean, all these rookie quarterbacks and these backups are coming out and having insane games because nobody has film on them. I mean, I know he's going to be expensive, but shit, take a flyer on Cortland Sutton. I mean, somebody's got to catch the ball. He's a straight up number one now. And I don't know what he's doing in this game, but I really liked Emmanuel Sanders against Arizona, but I don't know what he's done yet. So that would be a little too late to play that anyway. But those would be some of the guys, but I'll be looking at that a little bit more later in the week. But awesome week of football this week, John. A lot of fun stuff. Halfway through, games are really starting to mean something now. You know what I mean? Like, it's
crunch
getting to
time.
the fun time. Yeah, it is.
It's good. This is where coaches are going to either save their job or get unemployed, and
and maybe I'll finally get to use my Dan Quinn fired banner that I've got ready here. I mean, I've got a special button. I can't wait to touch it. But
each week that goes by, I think he might make it through the year. As crazy as that sounds, another game, real quick. It's not exciting. I'm more interested in it just to see how the player does because I followed him a little bit in college. Is Cincinnati with Ryan Finley?
Yeah, I feel terrible for that kid. Honestly, I feel absolutely terrible for Ryan Finley because Cincinnati. I mean, dude. Okay, if you don't think Dalton's the answer. Then, and we'll talk about this Sunday after I'm proven right. We'll go on and talk about this after this happens. Finley is going to get shit whipped around that football field all day. And just like Dalton's been doing, he might look good, but he's going to get mauled. Yeah. If you don't think Dalton's the answer, that's fine. Bench him. Don't throw that damn rookie out there. Do not ruin him. If this kid could actually be good, this is the type of situation that could 100% ruin him. 100% for a long fucking time.
You still want to see what you got there. So, I mean, there's two sides to that coin. I understand that. But I think that's on the offensive coordinator to design a game plan to get the ball out quick, probably heavier run, maybe 60%, 65% Joe Mixon, and then let Ryan Finley on more favorable downs. Drop back and throw and they're winless, so they're not vying for anything other than the first pick. So you could probably set up a game plan where you can kind of keep him in one piece and still evaluate whether they have their quarterback potentially of the future or still in the market for one. That one would be interesting to see if Andy Dalton has played his last down, in Cincinnati or not.
No, I could not agree with you more. Well, guys, that is going to wrap it up. I know it's Halloween, so a lot of people probably aren't even on right now, probably out either partying or running around with their kids if you're a dad like me or a mom like me, but or like what you get it. But if you guys do want to join the show, ever want to call in, talk football with us, if you see something here that you totally disagree with, anything we say on the show Sunday, our main show is going to be Sunday at 9:30, and it'll be here. We'll be doing the launch party in Longest Yard, and it'll be on YouTube. So we love having you guys on. I'll have the watch party comments up here on the phone, so I'll be able to check those out as well, and all the comments in the main thread in the Roughing the Passer room will actually be able to pop up on the screen. So if you do want your comment shown, come in there. But we'd love to have you on the show. Let us know ahead of time, or just type in the comments when you're watching. Hey, I want to come on in 5 minutes. I'll send you the link. Hop right on. It's a lot of fun. But John?
Yeah, just be fully clothed.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I mean.
I know.
Maybe. Hey. Let's not blanket this. I mean,
unless you're the two girls at the World Series.
Oh yeah, dude. I've already asked her to come on. Let me get that autograph. I asked her to come on my show. I was like, all right, I'll send the email out. Fuck it, why not?
That's the week ago video show for a week.
Yeah, it is. That's when let me get that autograph goes with the live video feed. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to the preview show. And Mr. Newman, I know you've got your new show with your new episode of Sports Card Nation with Rich Klein coming out tomorrow. My show, let me get that autograph, will be out this weekend as well. But until then, guys, we will see you on Sunday.
See you then, guys.
Peace.